So today we'll look at a chart which is called a treadle chart or panel chart. Okay, and by default, so we'll see why is it needed, where it is needed, and why uh, uh, creating this would where basically this type of a chart would help. And Tableau by default doesn't allow to create a chart like this, so it has to be created with some sort of maneuvering here and there with the help of table calculations and all. So let's also explore why it's not possible by default in Tableau to create a chart like this. First of all, let's see what this chart. So if you see, this is built on again our sample superstore data, and we have a normal grid. Okay, so and in each box of the grid we have a line chart, and each of these box basically representing a certain subcategory. So accessories, appliances, art, and in sample superstore data we have 17 of those subcategories, so we have 17 boxes in the grid. Now normally, given the data that which we have sample superstore, it's not by default possible to attain that grid. Okay, whatever we have seen here with the grid, so for each subcategory get a particular box and get the line inside that as a trend line. It's not by default possible. So for example, let me drag subcategory onto rows and pull my order date, let's say month of order date. Okay, and let me pull my sales. And I get a chart like this. Okay, but it's a single one-dimensional grid. Okay, obviously it's a grid, but it's a 1D grid. So I have everything in one column, all the lines. And if you see, the disadvantages of this type of a grid is basically obviously can set the fit height, something like this. And what you can do is, first of all, when you do this, small minor nuances are missed out. Okay, if we have 17 here, small minor changes in the lines are not so visible, and it's also looking little clumsy in the matter of comparison. So I don't know, okay, this is appliances, if I have to compare it with some other line, I might misinterpret going up and down between two subcategories. So, and also from the point of view of a dashboard placing, okay, if you have to place this sort of a chart in dashboard, it'll oftentimes you have to compromise on the visual aesthetics of the dashboard, and also it will take a lot of place for you in the dashboard, so that it's not so optimal unless it's that's definitely required. There's no other way. We can't do anything. But so these are there many more downsides to this type of a chart. Okay, so this is why there is a requirement for a chart like this. You can just on the glance of both the charts, you can clearly see, hey, this particular grid is giving us more information, and it's more visually appealing as well. So let's see how we can create this chart in Tableau. Okay, and obviously normally there is a way that there are multiple ways to attain this chart, and the one way that we commonly that I used to choose up until now, up until recent times, is basically to go ahead and create each and every chart. So for example, if I have to create a grid like this, what I'll do is I'll create this one, and I'll pull my subcategory into filters and just create one for accessories. Okay, so I have my accessories related chart in one sheet. So I'll create all the 17 sheets for 17 subcategories, in each sheet having one subcategory, and I'll club them together in this particular shape in the dashboard. So then I can I'll arrive at this sort of a sheet, the grid-like structure. But that's very time consuming, and a lot of effort has to be done. Let's say for example, you have to do some formatting changes on this worksheet. You need to make sure you have to do the same formatting, so it's a lot of manual work, and a time consuming process. So let's see an easier way to get the same grid chart that we have we're trying to achieve it. So let me clear this up. And so the first things is obviously to get the grid structure. Okay, it's basically the whatever the 4x4 or 5x5 matrix, that structure in which you want to place these lines. You want to get that structure. So for that, there are two calculations that would be required, that will set up the grid based on the dimensions that you want to use. For example, let me open those calculations and let me okay, so these are the two calculations that would be required, one with the name columns and one with the name rows. Let me quickly create them. And so first let me explain what they are trying to do here. So for columns, if you see, it's just nothing but a simple, we haven't used any dimensions or metrics. It's just the simple two table calculations helper functions that are used here, index function and size function. So if you would remember, index basically gives you in the scope of the table calculation, it will just return the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 and likewise. And size, it will give you the entire number of cells in that particular scope. Okay, so that will be the return of size. And so this calculation has been created in such a way, okay, to dynamically set the grid structure based on the dimensions that you are trying to use. Okay, for example, I know I want to use subcategory in and set each box in the grid for one subcategory, right? So based on number of items in the subcategory, my grid structure will optimally be set. How many boxes should I keep? So that is how this calculation has been made. You can obviously choose any other options as well to create your own grid structure, but as of now, let's not explore there. So what here it's trying to do here is, if you see the index and size, so once this table calculation has been set to the scope of our dimension, which is subcategory, what it will do is it will understand, okay, total how many subcategories are there, total how many values are there, and based on that, how should I divide my columns, how many columns should I create. And it's the same calculation that we have in here as well. So it's exactly same to same, except for here we have int as a function, making it as an integer on rows, and how many rows should I make. So it'll create that sort of a structure. So basically it will randomly put some of the subcategories into some each one of the subcategories into one of the combination of columns and rows. So let me just create these calculations. Columns. I think it's already there, but columns 1, and then let me do this as okay. And by default there are measures. If you see, we are getting green color. So normally green color means that it will create an axis, but it will not create a header. But in order for you to get a grid-like structure like this, you want them to work as header. So you'll get the partition. So what you'll do, you'll just convert them to discrete. So thereby it will work as a header and give you partitions which you are expecting. So put columns in columns, rows in rows. So now it has created a one particular partition, and once you set the table calculation scope to whatever the dimension that you're trying to use, it will accordingly set the grid structure based on that. So what obviously we want to keep each box in the grid as a subcategory, so I'll pull my subcategory into detail because I want to use that in my table calculation. And then once inside of each box, which is basically for each subcategory, I'm trying to plot sales across month, right? So what I'll do is I've created a month custom calculated custom date months, and I'll pull my months on my columns and my sales on my rows. So it's something like this, and let me keep it as line chart. Actually, let's come back to this later. So as of now, I have put in all the dimensions that are required. Months are there, subcategories are there, sales are there. I have to go back and set this table calculations, which are I have to set the right scope. So based on that, it will calculate and give me the right result. So edit table calculation columns, and I'll go for specific dimension options, and I need to perform this calculation for basically across all the subcategories across all the months. Okay, so let me just pull this up and do that, do subcategory. If you remember our table calculation sessions earlier, the difference, so basically we have by default many options here, but the specific dimensions option, okay, this option whenever you choose, so if there are a few things that to recollect here. One is basically the order here. So whatever the fields that you're ticking and unticking, the order of them will matter. So I've ticked both of them, but if my subcategory is coming first and months is coming second, the table calculation behaves in one way, and if my months is coming first and my subcategory is coming second, my table calculation will behave in another way. So it's basically, I'll come to that in a minute. So that's one thing to recollect, and the other thing to recollect is basically, so whenever you choose the default options, table across, table down, any of these things, by default Tableau, what it knows, it also understands the table, the view structure that you have created. Okay, and based on that view, what do I mean by view structure? So it will understand, hey, what dimension you have placed in columns, what dimension you have placed in rows, and based on that, if you select table across, okay, I have to go with something that was placed in columns. I'm sorry, something that was placed in rows, and I have to calculate across like that. So by default, all these options will understand what are the fields present in each of your marks card, especially in columns and rows. But specific dimensions is not like that. Tableau doesn't. Now, whenever you choose specific dimension, it won't bother to get the information. Hey, what are the fields present in columns and rows? So in that case, the Tableau, whenever it's not trying to get the information of whatever present in columns and rows, it doesn't get much information about the view. And for that reason, in order to provide that missing additional information about the view, specific dimension allows you to have few options like this here at the level and restarting FD and all of these things, which is a separate topic in itself, which it can be. So for the time being, let's say for example, I've chosen table across then down, all of these options are missed out. For any option, any other default option, they will not be shown, because that's only meant for specific dimensions, which you can provide any further details for your calculation. So okay, and the other thing that I wanted to tell here is I want to briefly touch on what these two does. So when I choose specific dimensions and I want my calculation to perform across every month and every subcategory, whenever I create this tick mark, okay, and it's think of it as a Tableau table calculation is creating a hierarchy, okay, not the normal hierarchy that which we have like here, but think of it as some other hierarchy in which the order of hierarchy is basically the order in which that you have set up the ticked fields in this particular space. So what it does is, hey, I understand that you have set up the hierarchy like this, but up at the level, what does this mean? What this at the level field is trying to tell is, okay, you have set up a hierarchy like this, but up until what level do you want me to perform this calculation? Do you want me to go up until deepest? That means up until all the last item in the hierarchy, which is months in this case, or do you want me to, I have other options as well. So months is basically the deepest, so deepest and months option will be same. So if I change this to months, nothing will change because both represent the same thing. But if I change this to subcategory, what it's trying to do is it will change, and it's basically trying to tell, hey, my calculation will stop here at subcategory itself. Okay, and so that's I'm just trying to recollect here. It's not a session on how at the level should supposed to work, because normally these things should be much easier to understand with appropriate examples, but here I'm just trying to recollect. So what we need to do is we have to create a hierarchy first with the subcategory and then months, so whatever the dimension that we are trying to arrive at, and then set the level, set the calculation level up until subcategory itself. And then I have to do the same for my rows. Okay, table calculation, specific dimensions across subcategory and months, and one little here. So we can see I'm getting some structure which is similar to what I want, right? So for example, let me just turn on the labels. So okay, not this one. So if we, okay, some of them are missing. Okay, let's see the tooltip. So if we see here, the first line is representing accessories. Everything is accessories across all the months, so that's good. And second thing is representing appliances, and third is representing art category, and likewise. But if you see some boxes in the grid, here we have, it looks like there are two lines, and the straight line is representing chairs, and this the other line that is representing bookcases, right? Which is not what we wanted. We want each box to be only for certain subcategory, not multiple subcategories, right? So we'll look into that, why it's happening and what we can do. Here also we have the same case. Here we have 1 point for one subcategory. This line is going for chairs, and we have another point for third subcategory. So multiple subcategories in this box as well, and likewise for all other few other boxes. So let's see why this sort of a case is happening, where multiple subcategories are occurring in the same box. So if we see, so what I've done here is I've created a simple table that gives us the subcategory level sales values across all the months that we are trying to plot. Now if we see, let's take this example, chairs and what is the other one, bookcases. So these two are overlapping. Let's try and see what's happening in chairs and bookcases. So for chairs, I have all the values, right, up until all the months, and bookcases. So let's see for bookcases. For bookcases, if you see, so there's a one particular missing value here. Let me actually go back and confirm one thing. January 2017, I have a value for bookcases. Okay, and let me see on the same bookcases line what is the next point. So on the same bookcases line, my next point is March 2017. So that is February 2017 is missing there, and so bookcases February 2017, so I have no data, so it's missing there. Okay, that's clear. And but if I see the chairs line, there is no January for the chairs line. There is no January starting from February 17, and there is no March as well. So it's going for April 17. So the point is, what's basically it's happening here is, since we have set up the table calculation across the subcategories and across for each month, so what they're trying to do is, hey, for bookcases I know, so in this month I'll go for the order in all the subcategories, and I'll see, okay, for bookcases I found a value, very good, so I'll use this for January 2017. For February 2017, in this month, I'll go in this order of subcategory, and I'll see, hey, for bookcases I didn't find any value, so I'll find the next value, whatever that is present, so which is chairs 190. So that's why we are getting here for February 2017, we are getting that chairs value in that order. So because of likewise, since we have multiple places where the data is missing, we have this overlappings of one subcategory over other subcategory. In order to fix that, there are few things, a couple of things actually, couple of simple things that we can do. First of all, what we need to do is basically we need to tell Tableau, hey, I understand that you are trying to replace wherever if the value is missing with the next whatever present subcategory, but hey, you should not do that. Whatever the value that is present in that particular subcategory only you should have to consider. So how do we tell is basically there's an option like first of all your both these table calculations are dependent on your months and subcategory. So if you remove this, change anything to this month, your table calculations will affect and your grid will change. So because of that, so we will just put this copy of months in details, so my table calculations will not be affected, and I'll change this months to there's a field called attribute. Okay, so basically I'm trying to, just like how we have some average, min, max, this attribute is also another type of aggregation, so I'll change this to attribute. So when we change the months field to attribute of months, what it's trying to tell Tableau here is so if you see that missing values are changed, so for example, this is what bookcases, and here we have January and we have March, but February, since it's not there, it's not pulling up any other subcategory data for February. So what this is trying to tell Tableau here is basically, hey, understand that in the way that I set up the table calculations, that you are looking for whenever you encounter a missing value in the order that I have set up, you are going for the next subcategory to fetch the value to replace here. But when I change this attribute of months, what it's doing here is basically just look for the month in the same month, but don't try to fetch. I don't know how to put this properly, but that's what it's trying to tell. So don't basically just stay in the same subcategory as which you have started. Whatever the order that is there, if it's bookcases, just stay in that bookcases. If it's a missing value, just keep it as a null. It's okay that if you don't plot it, but don't fetch from the next value. So that's what this particular function is trying to tell here. So I just wanted to little bit of formatting on this particular chart can get you where we want. And I just want to tell one last thing here. So this is very tricky, what we say, to get it. So normally if you have to create this sort of a chart, don't expect that you remember this approach. I would appreciate that you go ahead with the tutorial or present and create it, because it's very complicated. That even if you see, I'll tell you how complicated it is. You can think that we have subcategory and months in detail, right? And just imagine what happens if I just change the order of these things. Okay, months, I'll put months first and subcategory, and now everything is changed, right? So what it's trying to do here is basically for each subcategory, it's instead of plotting across months, it's taking for every combination of month and subcategory as one line. So and every combination of month and subcategory we'll only have one point based on the selection that the view that we have created. So basically one point is one line here. uh, so it's little tricky. Even if you get one step here, minor change like this, you will not get that desired result. So it's recommended up until you get accustomed to it. One for you follow the tutorial and do it. So so in this session, so just to show you guys that something like this is possible, where we can basically create grid chart for to view the dimension, view a particular measure on a certain dimension with all the values of this dimensions in a separate box in the grid. Yeah, I think we are closing out on time. Any questions as of now?
Jagdish, instead of pulling the months to detail and changing it into ATTR attribute, like won't the Zn function with the sum cells solve the purpose? So in case if it is null, it will give 0, right?
Yeah, I think that would also that I think that can work. So we would have to export it there. So because in that case, basically it wouldn't be null here, since it's pulling only the value because it's null. So what Jairam is suggesting is, if you use a Zn function, so wherever it is null, it will consider it as a 0. Okay, and in that case, Tableau will not have an empty value, but it will consider, hey, okay, I have 0, so I not fetch the next value. I think that's a good suggestion, Jairam. We can possibly try that, and hopefully it will work.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.